Okay, speed.
Mr. Dickson, you were directly involved in this bomb plot hoax on the Queen Elizabeth II. Just what did happen?
Well, as history will reveal now, on Wednesday afternoon, about 3:15, I received a telephone call from a male whom I assumed from his voice was a mature New York type, and who informed me that he had accomplices on board the Queen Elizabeth II, and unless we complied with certain demands that he was about to make, why, the Queen Elizabeth II would be destroyed at sea by bombs, and that I was to proceed to arrange for $350,000 to be made available, and when that was accomplished, then we would receive information on how to have these bombs disarmed on board the ship. I was to wait further instructions, which I would receive the next day. And, of course, being vitally concerned with this, I alerted my president, Mr. Patton. And from there, we went to the various law enforcement agencies because of our concern for the safety of the ship and the passengers at sea. And we alerted the ship. We sent a coded message to the vessel, and we spoke to our principals in London. And the next day, as Mr. Patton says, the law enforcement people were with us within the hour, and the next day was a day of waiting to see what would transpire. And about 2:30 the next day, we received a special delivery letter addressed to me, which contained further instructions on how to proceed. We complied with those instructions and followed them through. Went to an area that we were required to appear, and as you will have noted from Mr. Patton's statement, went through the directions of going to a telephone booth and getting further directions to go to an eating place and finding the instructions on where to make the final drop. And we followed through on those right to the letter and made the drop at the designated place.
Well, what happened? Did you hear from him anymore after getting that letter?
We had the 2 telephone conversations, the letter that was delivered to me here, and the instructions that were picked up at the eating place, and those are the 4 communications we've had with the so-called extortioner.
Did you feel any threat to you personally? Did you feel that you were in danger at any time?
Well, I'd be silly if I said no, but it was something I thought that had to be faced up to, because I say we were so vitally concerned about the safety of the ship and its passengers, and also being well aware of what has transpired in other events with airplanes and so forth, that if this was permitted to go on, why, we would have a series of these on board various ships, as evidenced by the threat received by the Italian line just yesterday.
Do you have, is there any reason to feel that, let's cut it there. Now, one thing that causes a little bit of a wonder is, suppose you had delivered the ransom, how would you have been assured that those bombs were aboard if they would have been made harmless?
Well, we could only accept him at his word that he would give us the proper code to send to the ship for delivery to his accomplices, and they would proceed to disarm or reveal the presence of the bombs.
Didn't this whole thing strike you as being rather far-fetched?
Well, the whole thing does, and all of these things, they all sound as being rather far-fetched, but in something like this, you've got that one chance in a million where it might not be.
You no doubt read of this story of this girl taking a short story course that almost, this was a very close parallel to exactly what happened. Do you see any connection there?
Well, it's hard to say whether there's any connection, but the similarity between the plot of the girl's story and what actually transpired with this so-called extortioner, it's so close that it just seems to be incredible to think that there is no connection between the two. I mean, how often do you hear about, just out of a clear blue sky, about terminal cancer people turning up to blow something up?
Well, from your knowledge of the case right now, would you say that why was this done? Was it to collect the ransom, or was there some other motive? Was it somebody just playing a prank?
Well, that's hard to say. I really wouldn't know how to answer that, whether it was somebody who was really prepared to follow through and try to collect the money that might have been dropped, or whether it was just a prank. We'll never know because he didn't show up to pick it up.
Do you think there might be more such hoaxes?
Well, you've seen it evidenced with the airlines. You've seen it evidenced by the follow-up with the Italian line just yesterday.
What protection can can a ship have in such a situation?
Well, where there are measures that we can take and not to reveal them, we prefer not to talk about that.
I don't know. Can I leave anything out? Anything else that you... No, all right.
No, that